Hallo, Servus, Grüß Gott, and Guten Tag, and welcome in to my YouTube channel, Klaudless in Indy. I'm Christian, and fortunately for you, it is another beer review. And as you can tell from my masses and my steins right here, that it is obviously an Oktoberfest video, and for this channel, it is my second Oktoberfest video. For the first one, I will put up a link somewhere in here, or just put up a clip, but it's pretty much the very first video I made on this channel, I believe, either the first or the second. As you can see, I have my lederhosen on. I also have my belt on. I really like the way the belt looks with this here. But enough about that, which I will do another video of my entire Stein and Mass collection from all the Oktoberfest events I've been. Although I don't remember all the events, I do still have the memorabilia. But this one is the newest to my collection. As you can see here, it is an Oktoberfest by Sun King Brewery. And this one is plastic. A lot of people don't like plastic Steins or Masses, but me, I don't care as long as it's good quality, as long as it handles well, you know, with a full drink. And this one, of course, is pint size with room for head. Then, you know, I like the mug. So, with that being said, Sun King Brewery's Oktoberfest German style lager. Now, before I roll that intro, I just want to tell you guys that this particular beer review is going to be a little bit different than my other beer reviews, and the reason why is because after researching this beer, which they provide all the information on sunkingbrewery.com, is it sunkingbrewery.com or sunkingbrewery.com? Still, regardless, just Google it, you can find it. They provide you the hops that they use, and they provide you with the malts that they use. And what I think the German saying is that malts are the life of beer, which, you know, if they're following the Reinheitsgebot, das deutsche Reinheitsgebot, you know, which is the German purity law, then it is indeed going to be about the malts. And this beer here is, it says it's a German style lager. It doesn't say it's a Märzen. It says it's a German style lager, and with the ingredients that they use, I mean, this beer is as German as you can get. And so a good portion of this video is going to be dedicated to just talking about that. But with that being said, I don't want to bore you guys. In the description below, I will be putting in chapters, so that way if you just want to see the tasting of this beer and my thoughts on it, you can fast forward to that. But if you are curious about you know, the hops and the malts, of course I will put in timestamps for the hops and timestamps for the malts. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this video. And now, well, also, I was going to say that I was originally going to record this video outside, but unfortunately it's very windy, and of course it's still daddy-daughter time. It's always daddy-daughter time, the life of being a parent. And so we'll be recording the rest of this video inside. That way I have access to my PC and I can show you everything that I need to show you instead of doing everything in post. But now, without further ado, you guys, it's time to roll the intro. Prost! Alrighty, guys. So we are back inside. You're probably wondering, where in the world did my lederhosen go? Well, you see, it's been a few weeks since I made that intro for this video, and just it was one thing after the other, and I just couldn't find the time or the energy to finish it. But today I found it, and so I was like, you know what, I'm not really in the mood to put on my lederhosen, so I'm just gonna wear my yellow hoodie, wear my my goat necklace, and of course my Epcot Oktoberfest hat, or my Epcot Germany hat. So if you noticed, my office looks a little bit different. I recently obtained a a Sun King Osiris Pale Ale poster, you know, which I'm very excited about, especially since that was my last beer review. And in a future video, of course, I will do a a office tour of all the posters that I have, especially since I'm still continuing to build what I call the wall. And yeah, also if you hear a lot of noises or cooing in the background, you already know that I am a new father, a new dad, and so if I'm not working, chances are my daughter's with me. So she's in her bouncer right now. I'm doing a whole lot of bouncing and banging. But yeah, don't mind her. Leave the minding to me and just enjoy this video. So with that being said, also don't mind the mess as well. But with that being said, as I stated in the intro of this video, we are going to kind of not necessarily a deep dive, but we are going to stick not just our feet in, but maybe go up to the knee a little bit and some of the malts and hops in this beer. And if you don't really care about that, then in the description, which they should probably show up in the video, I'm going to put chapters. So if you don't really care about, you know, the hops and the malts and you just want to get straight to the tasting, then you can go ahead and skip to that part in the video. Hell, I'll even put a timestamp up here somewhere so you can just go ahead and skip there. But if not, enjoy the show. Hell, if you want to just skip this intro, you can just skip to that timestamp there. But without further ado, let's just get into it. I present to you the Oktoberfest German style lager. Can you even see that? By Sun King Brewery. Wow, and I tell you what, this is a delicious beer, so I'm very happy to be reviewing it. But you know what? Before we dive in, let's go ahead and roll that intro. Okay, guys, so now let's before we delve into the website, we are going to take a look at the can. I really hope that the camera quality is decent. If not, then I will have to rep the camera, and if I do, obviously there'll be a cut, and if not, then we'll just keep on going. So I really love this here. Wow, that is not exactly the best quality there. So alright, so obviously had to cut the video. Unfortunately, I can't get my webcam to focus how I want it. But just look at the can there. Oh, and there we go. Okay, so, oh, you gotta be kidding me. But if we see the can, I'm not exactly sure about the orange, but I really like the colors. As you know, these are the Bavarian or the Bayern state colors. Obviously it's missing the lion, but pretty much you have the blue and the white. And if you look closely, you got some leaves there, and you see these guys right here, 2-row barley or 2-row malts there. Oh, actually one design that I saw that I noticed is right here in the corner you have a hop, and down here can't really see, but that's an Oktoberfest hat. And if we turn on the other side, we have another Oktoberfest hat there, and a leaf. Not 100% sure what that's supposed to be exactly, but yeah, this is of course a 12-ounce can, and let's see what it says here on the side. Oktoberfest is a German-style lager crafted with choice hops and noble hops for a toasty malt complexity and a crisp, dry finish. On the website, it says the exact same thing, so I'm going to show you that in just a moment. Once again, though, we've encountered another can that does not have the ABV on the can. I'm not sure if it has it on the box. If it does, what the 6-pack I'm talking about. If it does, I'll let you know, but it does not on the can. But if we just look at that font there, just the can design, I think is a great design in general. 10 out of 10 for me. But let's go on. Let's go ahead and go to the website. Okay. Bam, here we are. As you can see, I have a million tabs opened up just so I can make this as fluid as possible for you guys. I don't want to bore you too much going too deep into the rabbit hole, and I don't want to digress too much, but here we go. Oktoberfest, German style lager. And as you can see in the URL, it is, it looks like my, oh, there's my mouse, okay. As you can see here in the URL, it is a seasonal beer. And the aroma, caramel, sweet aromatics, toffee, red apple, dried fruits. As far as the caramel and the sweet aromatics and the toffee, that's something that I expect in a German style, or at least an American. And for the longest time, I was calling this American, and as you'll see on Beer Advocate and Untapped, they actually call it American, but just looking here at the description, they do not call it American. They call it a German style lager. Although, for all intents and purposes, it can be considered American. Even though, to me, it's a little bit lighter than American. It tastes a little bit lighter than American, but we'll get to that in the tasting. Okay, so let's go here to beeradvocate.com. As you can see here, Sun King Brewery, right here in Indianapolis. Well, yes, right here in Indianapolis. It's American, ranked 142 on Beer Advocate. It's got an 85. Cool beans. Do we have an ABV? Coming at 5.75% ABV. And that's all it's got here. So let's go ahead to untapped.com. All right, they don't have an ABV here, nor do they show the IBUs. But it's got a, once again, well, never mind, it's 3.81. It's basically 4 stars, okay, on Untapped. So it's still pretty good in my opinion. So now going down the list here, let's see. The taste should be moderately sweet, lightly bitter with a mild lingering sweetness. Okay, oh, there is the IBUs. I clearly was not paying attention, obviously. So ABV at 5.7%. Okay, what, on Beer Advocate, didn't they say it was less than that? No, actually, they said it was exactly that. 5.7%, and the IBU is 23. So, as I said in the description, it should be lightly bitter, if we can even taste the bitterness at all. 2-row malt, Munich, Vienna, Karahel, Melanoidin, which those two right there, the Karahel and the Melanoidin, we're about to go into those two. The hops, the Warrior, we already know about Warrior hops, that the Warrior hops are typically your bittering hop, right? And then we have the Hallertau and the Mittelfrüh. Now, as you can already see right here, right, with the Vienna, the Munich, I'm not sure about these yet, but you're about to find out. With the Hallertau and the Mittelfrüh, already we have German malts, German hops in the beer, right? So this is this is a very German beer. I think, as I stated in my intro, you can get it on draft. Well, yeah, I think it's still available on draft, at least at the Carmel location, unless things have changed. 12-ounce cans and a 6-pack. All right, so first things first, we are going to delve into the malts now. As I said before, if you don't care about this part and you care about the hops, I'll put a timestamp somewhere here. I'll put a timestamp somewhere on the video. You can skip to that point. And if you only care about the tasting, I'll put a timestamp there as well, and you can skip to that part. But right now, we're gonna go into the hops. I mean, the malts. Alrighty, so with that being said, I'm not gonna go too deep into the Munich or the Vienna malts, but from the look of it, as far as like what I could find online, they are typically pale malts, and so I don't know if they're using this as a base, if they're using the Munich and the Vienna as their base malts, or if they're using it. I guess they roast them. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure actually. But from what I've seen is that you can use them either for their flavor or just use them as the base while adding other malts to the batch, which seems to maybe have been the case with the Karahella and the Melanoiden, which I found to be by this company called Weyermann, which is based in Bamberg, Germany, which is like south central Bamberg, just north of Nuremberg. Whoop, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So you can see all the I guess the different flavors that they'll impart. Which, as far as the Karahel, that seems pretty normal as far as like provides multi-aromatic bread-like aromatics, slight color enhancement. So this is, I guess, the color that it'll impart to your beer, and we'll see the color of the beer in just a moment. A golden brown aromatic caramelized malt from top Carly barley, and that is a thing about Märzen styles, is that, at least for me, I'm usually always looking for that caramel flavor or that toffee flavor, which is provided by the caramelized malt. And so it would appear that that is what the Karahel is. Let's see here, and then we'll go on to the next one, which is the Melanoiden malt. And there was a few different ones that I saw here, but this is the one that I just chose here. So red brown brittle malt from top quality barley, sweet, multi-sweet with aromas of biscuit and honey, as well as sour notes of dried fruit. So it would appear that a lot of the how do you say, because with German lagers in general, or just German beers, a lot of the flavor typically is going to come from the malts. You know, just German beers tend to be pretty malty. So all the flavors that they're describing with the Melanoiden and the Karahel, and if you already know about Munich or Vienna style malts, then that, this here already makes sense of, as far as what we're expecting out of this beer. The question is, how deep is the flavor going to be? I think I stated in my very first Oktoberfest video, which I think was actually my very first video on this channel, was that I don't necessarily care for like the traditional Märzens or the traditional Oktoberfest style beers. I typically care more for Festa beers, mainly because while I do love that toffee taste, I feel a lot of Märzens tend to be, the word I want to use is grainy. That's the best way I can describe it. They taste grainy. I love that malty taste. Like, I love malt, like, for instance, malt beers, like Singha. If you ever had Singha, that's described as a malt beer. You can taste the toffee, you can taste the caramel. I absolutely love that. But I feel like a lot of Oktoberfest beers tend to have like this grain taste to it, not so much sweet. That might actually be the bitter. Not 100% sure. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead. Well, if any of this stuff interests you, check it out. This is the Weyermann here, and I think that Sun King has bought from. I'm not sure about BSG, what this actually is. But for instance, I have a poster that has like Simpson's Malt, which is, I guess, a supplier that they buy from. They actually show you that if you ever get a chance to tour the brewery downtown, and it also has BSG on it. And I want to assume that this may be the same BSG, since It's, could be wrong, not sure. But now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the hops of the beer. So we have the Warrior hops. As I said before, the Warrior hops is typically your bittering hop, right? So those are going to be the hops that you put in the boil, to bitter the beer. As you can see here, Warrior hops have become the go-to bittering hop for many craft and commercial breweries across America, and was developed by Select Botanicals Group and Yakima Chief Ranches in the Yakima Valley. It has a very mild aroma and contributes balanced flavor. But the bitter bite is sought after for bigger IPAs and many imperial styles. So, I do wonder why they chose this particular one. I don't know if it was maybe because they just so happen to have the Warrior on hand. I mean, we've seen that they use Nugget in other beers, so I kind of wonder what their reasoning for choosing the Warrior hop as opposed to other hops for this particular beer. And so, moving on, we're going to now go to the Hallertau. When I decided to actually, same site, YakimaValleyHops.com, decided to just type it in the search bar, Hallertau, and it gave me 4 options. Since the Sun King website didn't specify specifically which Hallertau, and of course I had done previous research, in preparation for this video about the Hallertau, I saw that there's the Hallertau Tradition, the Hallertau Blanc, and the Hallertau Mittelfrüh, which I believe these two, are subsets or subspecies, or splits off, however the term is, of the Hallertau. And I think we actually grow Hallertau Mittelfrüh in Idaho. I think that's like the only other place outside of Germany. Don't quote me on that, could be wrong, but this is just from what I've read online, where the Hallertau could actually grow. But I guess they have both the Mittelfrüh and I guess they have the Mittelfrüh in both Germany and Idaho. So we go here to the Hallertau Tradition hops. See here, I'm not sure if, right. They didn't really provide much information. I mean, unless you're a brewer yourself, I mean, these numbers here with the alpha acids, beta acids, those numbers are most likely going to mean a lot to you. And also, as you can see here, this, the Hallertau is a noble hop. See, sweet fruit, green grassy, which that's going to provide some red apple, maybe some dried fruit. But the question is, what type of flavor, especially since this is going to be most likely a malt forward beer, the question is, what are the hops going to provide? That's my question. As you can see here, the Hallertau Tradition hop on beermaverick.com, it says it's going to provide some citrus, maybe some resin, so equally citrus, resin, pine, spice, and floral. See some more data, some more numbers, if any of you guys care about that. We're going to move on to the Mittelfrüh, the Hallertau Mittelfrüh, which is going to provide some herbal. Oh, and maybe that's what the maybe that's what that leaf on the can is talking about, is just the herbs. Hey, woody aromatics and floral. Yeah, we can see here it's going to provide citrus, spice, and herbal, as stated on YakimaValley.com. And so, yeah, it's pretty simple there. Here's some more numbers. Once again, you guys just check out the URL, sites I'm using, YakimaValleyHops.com and beermaverick.com. So, I'm very excited to, see, as I said before, see what the hops are going to impart on this beer, especially since I'm expecting a malt forward beer. I mean, just based on, the aroma and the taste, and just from what I expect from Martins in general, just the beer style. So with that out of the way, I think it is a perfect time to finally get to the tasting. So, as you know, I'll be bringing back my wine in glass. This is, in fact, a 14-ounce glass here, which is to replace my St. Joseph's Brewery 14-ounce glass, because even though I love that brewery, I was told, hey, they need to stop getting free advertisement. All right, but you know what? When you guys are making great products, just like Sun King, okay, just like Quaffon, I have no problem wrapping those beers, because I do in fact drink those beers, right? And I'm not gonna be like, oh, just whatever. I'm rambling. So this is the glass we'll be using. So let's get. Whoop! I really hope that doesn't explode on me. I do have my voltage tester here. If you guys are previous fans of my YouTube channel, you know that I used to be an electrician apprentice. So I still have a bunch of my old tools, including my trusty voltage tester here that also has a laser thermometer. And so the reason why I'm about to check the temperature of this beer specifically is because, there's that whole thing about, Germans like to drink warm beer. But I think it's more so at maybe room temperature. And what I mean by that is that here in America, we typically drink our beer anywhere between 38 to, I think, 45 degrees. That is the official, I believe, serving temperature. Well, me personally, I think that's way too cold. I personally don't like my beer that cold. I don't mind having my beer sit for a minute to warm up. In fact, in some places, they actually recommend after you pour your beer, just kind of like with wine, to just warm it up with your hand in the glass. So let's go ahead and check the temperature of this beer. It has been out for maybe a good hour. When I originally took it out, I think, when I originally took the temperature, I think it was at like 58 degrees, and now it's at 62.9 degrees, which to me is absolutely perfect. It's not too cold, but it's not too warm either. Excuse me, and hopefully this beer will show me all of itself. Let's get into it. Oh. Just gonna pour it into the glass. Look. Oh. Just look at that beautiful head. I'm not gonna pour the entire glass in here. Right? We need swishing room. But look at that beautiful head there. Right? So, as expected with the Meritzen, this one is a little bit lighter than the ones I'm used to seeing. Not too light. I mean, it's still I want to say a dark gold, almost amberish, like a light amber, dark gold. So, and that head is absolutely gorgeous. That head is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Very, very fluffy. And while I can't smell it from this distance, obviously the closer I get to the glass, the stronger the smell. And right off the nose, you're already getting the toastiness. You're already getting the breadiness. I mean, there is a little bit of sweetness there. And that may actually be, as I described, like the dry fruit, that red apple. And when I think of red apple, I'm not thinking, or at least when I see that they're describing red apple, I'm not thinking necessarily like the apple chunks, like the inside of the apple. I'm thinking more of the apple skin. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly personally what I'm getting. It's the weirdest thing. Although I would have to say if I hadn't read the description, I probably wouldn't switch this around a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Let's get into it. Wow. All right, so I'm not gonna lie. I want to say that obviously we know that a lot of the flavors that we're tasting is actually coming from our sinuses, our olfactory bulb, you know? So I am tasting a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of sweetness. All right, so I'm back. Had to feed my daughter and change her. if you're a dad or you take care of kids, you already know how this goes. But thankfully she's changed and fed now. But yeah, she seems to have the time of her life right now. Let's get back into this. Yeah. So just with mouthfeel, it's very, very low carbonation, and the body is just very light. And as I said before, there's like a slight bitterness, and I think in the past I probably would have described that as the grainy, right? And I think that as this beer actually warms up, it tends to be a little bit more grainy or more bitter than sweet. You know, but yeah, I mean the toastiness, the the toastiness, the breadiness is still there, and I want to say that's the most dominant flavor in this beer. I'm gonna say when it's cold, I think that's probably when it's the sweetest. Cause what's the temperature that we're at right now? Let's see here. So we've only gone up 2 degrees. Yeah, we've only gone up 2 degrees, and there's already been a change in the beer. I mean, it's still delicious nonetheless. I hands down would still probably drink a liter of this. But yeah, that's still very delicious. Although I would say that this beer is probably drank a lot colder than 62 degrees. And I think it's probably best that it's served at a colder temperature. Maybe somewhere in the 50s, hell, maybe at 35 or at 38 to 45 degrees, somewhere around there. That way you're able to continue to get that sweetness, that caramel, the toffee flavors for a lot longer. But as I've noticed, just in a short amount of time, as the beer warms up, those flavors tend to kind of like settle down, and the bitter and the toastiness and the breadiness, they seem to be more dominant in this beer. But the aroma, still an absolutely delicious smelling beer, and this is actually a very great beer. I would say of all the German style lagers that we have at, say, the Carmel location, I think I sell the Oktoberfest a lot more than the Hefeweizen, more than my favorite, the Hallertau Munich style Helles. This one seems to be the best seller. But you know what? I mean, honestly, it's a great beer. It's definitely a great American, a great Oktoberfest style beer. And definitely one of the better ones that I've had. As I said before, I tend to not really care for Oktoberfest style beers, mainly because they do tend to be a little bit grainy, or malty, but not like the sweet malts. I want to say more like a bitter malt. But that could be coming from the hops that they're using. You know, not entirely sure. But with that being said, I will post in the description some links if you want to know more about the Hallertau or the Hallertau Mittelfrüh hops. I'll post that down in the description. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you were drinking this beer and tasting it along with me, if you were getting different notes, put it down in the comments section. And thanks for watching. You know, this is Klaudless and Indy reviewing the Oktoberfest German style lager by Sun King Brewery right here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I'll see you guys in the next one. But before we go, cheers, salud, slancha, na zdrowia, prost, peace out.